Welcome back to the Life of Being podcast, where we talk about all things life from a healthcare perspective all around the world. Today is another special solo episode reflecting upon our first anniversary of Life of Being podcast. So, I've talked about how this podcast was started in a 2025 wrap up episode. I'll link it in the description below if you'd like to listen more about it. But I still can't believe how far we've come. We've officially launched 38 episodes, including this week, and we have episodes already scheduled for the next 12 weeks or so up until November with our current frequency of once a week, which might change in the future. To look back and see how all of it started with just us, so me and Dr. Sashlyn, recording our conversation, and she's such an amazing, incredible person where we always had our car chat about life and work after our shifts. She did shine a light on many different aspects in life. And yeah, she's just such an inspiring person, and I have such a respect for her. There were people saying like, wow, there's 30 episodes in, it's impressive. And in a sense, it is from a perspective of this was just a side hobby or side project. But for me, it didn't feel like work. It actually was something that I felt energized me to be able to learn from someone's story and for them to share their experience, their knowledge, their thought process. And yes, there's the element of consistency that's needed, and there's a lot of work, reaching out to people, making arrangements, getting the things scheduled. There's the time zone difference, recording the conversation, and then there's a lot of post-production and things getting done at the back end. And for this podcast, each episode has a blog post for the episode. So yes, there's a lot of work behind this, but as I said, I do enjoy speaking with all these passionate people in their own field, and for them to share the story, it's a privilege to be able to have this as a platform for people. I think I've also talked about this before, where most podcasts don't go past the first few episodes. From what I actually heard from people that I know of, whether it's like in the conference they mentioned about this or when I was speaking to people, some say they don't go past 8 episodes. So if you go past that, you're good to go. Some say the first 2 years, people don't go past 2 years. Others might say 10 episodes, but I think essentially what they're referring to is the long-term game. And of course, there's life that happens. There's phases in life. Some people just wanted to try or dabble around. Some thought that this might give them some benefit in some other sort. Some don't see it as a long-term thing. So for me at this point, I'd still like to be able to speak with all these amazing, passionate people, to have this as a platform to share their story, their untold stories. And we're looking to continually streamline the procedures and systems. And I like to continue improving myself in terms of asking better questions, providing a safe, comfortable space for people to share their story, hosting better. And for people who came and shared a story, I believe that in them sharing their story, in reflecting upon the questions that come up during the conversation and our flow, that helps them in reflecting upon themselves and also their direction. A great big shout out to all of you people supporting and listening to these episodes, gaining values from our guests, and to those who recommended or referred the great guests that we have in the podcast. We couldn't have done it without you. And if you're interested in learning more about the common themes that came out, at least so far, with the people that we have spoke to, from the last reflection that we had, that was the reflection for mid 2026. So 6 months in, there was a lot of reflection upon the growth, the progress, how it all started, what has changed, and also the common themes around it. And that was also when the podcast directory was built and was out already. So if you're interested in understanding where to start, you can always click the link in the description below. I'll link the directory so you can know where to start. In that episode, we also talk about common themes among people that are years ahead of us. This episode was to celebrate this small milestone of being 1 year in. And yes, it's still super baby. And I think that I'd still like to bring this joy and excitement to speak with people, for them to share their story and to share maybe questions that they never had before, and for them to think in a different angle, for them to share it in this platform for the people, yes, but also for themselves to think in a different direction, I think. And yeah, I still like to be able to speak with all these amazing people and to share their story in this platform. Initially, I only had like a few people, but as I slowly dive deeper, connect, there are so many more people out there and so many more connections, so many stories to be told. So I'm excited to be speaking with more people. Many people tend to talk about, envisioning this, where do you want this to take? And for me, when I started this, first of all, I don't know where this thing will take off. I just know that I like speaking with people. I like sharing people's story in a sense and their experience, their knowledge, their wisdom. So initially it was just focusing on input. And then as we've also talked about in the previous reflection solo episode, where initially it was every 2 weeks for a new episode. Now it's once a week. And then in the future, we're looking to potentially increasing the frequency also, because like now the queue or the waiting line is like getting further and further. So we talked about like it might be just a phase in it. But for me, for now, I would like to still continue speaking with people, sharing their knowledge, sharing their wisdom, because I'm pretty sure people tend to have this too. Like when you're talking to someone and you'd be like, wow, there's such an insightful perspective. You like to hope that there were more people in this to hear about this. And I guess that's probably why people tend to also document their life, videos, take pictures. But yeah, so thank you again for every single one of you who've supported, who shared their feedback, their insights, to all the great guests that we had so far, for their kindness, their generosity in sharing their story, their experience, their knowledge, to all of our listeners. So we look forward to seeing you in the next episode, wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, whether you're on your way to work, you're on your way back from work, you're on your run, you're on your beautiful walk, you're in the gym, you're in the kitchen, I don't know, maybe you're in the toilet, I don't know. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night. Take care of yourself and take care of your being. See you in the next episode.